welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
John Carruthers.
And we are still here in California.
Yes, in the bright, bright sun.
You know what? I know what I discovered here at the Podcast Expo.
What's that?
Well, when you go to a bar and a large man says naughty things to you, that you agree with him and move away quickly.
Yes, this could have been a solo show today for me because apparently Mr. Andy Walker here was picking a fight with someone who was threatening him.
It was just a little altercation. It was, it's basically was male egos clashing or whatever. But anyway, so I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy not to have a, knife wound or anything like that.
Yeah, that would have been tragic.
That would have been tragic. Anyway, so today more Podcast Expo fun.
Mm-hmm. We've seen a few other of our favorite podcasters wandering on the show floor, and we tried to get a few of them to commit to us on the way into the show today, and hopefully we'll find them. That's the thing, is it tends to be a little bit crowded in there sometimes, and they disappear and go do other pod type things.
So who are you excited about talking to today?
I'm not going to say because they might not show up.
All right.
So
and then we disappoint you guys.
You know who I'm really excited about? Besides the sponsor, which is coming up next, I'm excited about the interview that's coming up right after this.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We promise.
They're a fascinating conversationalist.
Right. Day 2 of the Podcast Expo from here in Ontario, California. Stay with us for a message, and we'll be back with more fun podcasting joy.
It burns.
Oh, it's so hot, sun.
This is a llama. It carries luggage. This is a burrito. It is lunch. This is Camtasia Studio 4. It makes screencasts. Now answer our trivia question. What screencasting tool is not woolly or made of beans? I'll be back at the end of the show with the answer.
Well, look who I found. Hayden Black from Goodnight Burbank. How are you?
Yes, I did. I'm great, thank you. Great, having a good time.
I understand that you are in demand here at the show.
Yeah, I've been on a few speaker panels, emceed a couple of events. I've been having a lot of fun.
And you're a bit of a rock star. Oh, and you're a bit of a 80s rock star fan, right?
Oh, yeah, love the 80s. Can't go wrong with the 80s. So you can, and that's part of the fun, right?
Well, you and I are very similar. I mean, I gather you came from England at some point in the past?
Yes, yeah, in the deep, dark past, I hail from Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about yourself?
I was born in Norwich and lived in North London for a little while, RAF base brat.
Home of Alan Partridge, Radio Norwich.
There you go. Oh, that's fabulous. But of course, many years ago, the accent's almost gone now. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started with Goodnight Burbank, and we'll talk a bit about your new project, the Abigail Project, in a second.
Well, a frustrated writer, basically. It was, living in Hollywood, having screenplays option, but it doesn't really make much money. And then the offer was made of a green screen studio. I've been taking an improv class at the time, and I took an old idea for a TV show out of a back drawer somewhere and stripped it down to its barest essentials, condensed it to 5 minutes, cast it from people within the class, all of whom brilliantly talented people. And I think I wrote the pilot on a Wednesday, and we shot it 4 days later on a Sunday, and the rest was history. It was a year and a half later, almost 50 episodes total between Goodnight Burbank and the spin-off series that we started doing, Goodnight Burbank Breaking News. So it's not doing too badly.
And so how do you when you create that, is it scripted or is it ad lib, or how does it work?
Oh, it's completely scripted. I'll write a script. The cast and I'll do a table read where they can throw out ideas, and if it works, we'll change the script. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing, and then I rewrite those scripts. They're locked at that point. And maybe, the day that we're shooting, if there's a suggestion, the suggestion has to be made before the cameras start running, because it is tightly scripted.
Oh, it is?
Yes, top to bottom.
And so the spin-off is called Goodnight Burbank Breaking News. Tell me about
Breaking News. They're just shorter segments. They have a different cast in them. I mean, they're branded at the top with Gordon Winston Smythe, throwing to the Burbank reporter who's on location, and she interacts with her best friend, her roommate, and her rival, the local reporter for NBC. And they have an interesting relationship because it's obvious that the Burbank reporter, played by Monica Young, is so much more intelligent and should be so much, at a much higher place than some, shitty local news station, whereas her roommate and colleague, Taylor McCall, played by Carly Craig, is just an absolute idiot and should be nowhere near a camera with opinions, at least.
Right.
And of course, she's the one working for NBC, winning the awards.
Beautiful.
So.
And then finally, there's something called Abigail's. What?
Well, this is a brand new series.
Okay.
Premieres.
I'm really excited about this, by the way, just based on the title. What is it called?
Abigail's X-rated teen diary.
Okay.
And it's about a 13-year-old girl who's going to be talking about, what it's like being in 8th grade in 2007.
Yeah.
Parents' messy divorce, boys, and living with Bloomberger's syndrome, which is this genetic condition that prematurely ages the body, bloats it slightly, adds hair where hair shouldn't be, and basically she looks now exactly like me. So I'm playing Abigail. It's a completely fictional condition.
Right,
I made it up.
Oh, very good.
So it's so different in tone and everything else to Goodnight Burbank. It's a lot broader. It's a lot sillier. We're going to do 3 episodes a week. Each one's going to be about a minute in length, so really viral, really easy for people to enjoy and pass on to the next person, hopefully.
So you can have sponsors. How are you going to make money at this?
Well, we've actually already sold advertising on Abigail, some product placement, and we, before we'd even launched the show, people saw the trailer and a couple of episodes that, I had hidden away on a server, and they said, we want to do it, we want to do it. So it's you wouldn't even know, it's very seamless and very organic, the way that this particular product has been placed.
So there's a lot of frustrated, filmmakers out there, television writers, that sort of thing. Do you think podcasting is a good outlet for them?
Well, of course. I mean, the one thing that the studios have long since had is that monopoly on distribution. So, of course, the reason a writer or a filmmaker would be frustrated is because the one person with the key isn't letting them in. Well, that has been blown away now. There is now the ability, of course, with the internet to do what you want, create your own audience, basically live and die on your own creative sword. You're the only one wielding it. You're not answering to anybody else. And so, I think the floodgates are now opening. It's getting more and more popular. Obviously, there's going to be more and more stuff out there to have to wade through to get to the good stuff. But we all just have to hope that, the cream will rise and the good stuff will be seen by lots of people.
So do you think there'll be like the next big screenwriters to come out of the podcasting community, do you think?
I think you're going to see screenwriters go into the podcasting community and maybe find that as a route. I don't think you can just... People like to make this distinction between old media, traditional media, and new media. And I think that's just like this rush right now to do that. And there's no reason to. If you're online telling a story, there's no difference telling a story there or on television or on a movie screen. A story is a story. It has to have a beginning, middle, and end. It has to be entertaining and compelling and all those same things. But about the only real difference is with new media is it's much shorter, more self-contained, and more compressed. So the real challenge, the true challenge, is how do you tell a story that you would have told perhaps in 23 minutes in 5? And how do do you put that into a few episodes? Do you just take some stuff out? And it's all about editing yourself. And there are great lessons to be learned. But I think that all of this stuff is going to, the future is all convergence. You're going to see facets of things, of the same thing, a version for the internet, a version for television, and they're all going to work with one another seamlessly. You'll have one project in various iterations across the different mediums.
So like it's a multimedia approach.
Yeah, that's what's ultimately going to happen. I think right now it's still so early days. It's not even the golden days yet. It's still in its infancy. It's such infancy. So you have a lot of people at the networks and whatnot. This is completely alien to them, as well it should. It's completely alien to most people. They're not sure what they're doing yet. They're slowly, making strides slowly. Same can be said for advertisers. They're not sure yet where they want to place money. So this is a time really for people to create and have fun and experiment and to learn and to move forward, so that when all those things do start to fall into place, they'll have good, well-established shows with audiences that have found their feet and are moving forward. This is the time to do that.
This is the time, yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So where can our audience find out all about your projects? Is there one URL, a couple URLs you can tell us about?
A couple. Goodnight Burbank is, of course, goodnightburbank.com.
Okay.
And Abigail's X-Rated Teen Diary is abigailsxratedteendiary.com. No apostrophes or hyphens, just one long word, Abigail's X-Rated Teen Diary.
Fantastic, Hayden. Best of luck.
Thank you so
Such a
much.
pleasure to talk to you.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers. Thank you.
And so I'm here with Jim Louderbeck of Revision 3, one of the original Lab Rats, if not the original.
Actually, you know what? I ran the Lab Rats, but it was really Patrick Norton was really the original Lab Rat.
Excellent. So just we want to make sure that it's okay. Is it okay that we're Lab Rats too?
It's fine with me. I think Lab Rats is kind of a universal term. What I want to know is, so Patrick was the original Lab Rat, Patrick Norton, and I guess I was the one who was responsible for the feeding of the Lab Rat. So who feeds you guys?
I think Betsy does.
Oh, okay.
Betsy's behind the camera right now.
Betsy's feed. All right, good.
Yes.
Spin the wheel.
Yes. So obviously you've had an interesting career path over the last little while, going from ZD to G4 and then on to Rev 3. Tell us about this career path. How does the world of podcasting and online television differ from the world of traditional television?
Yeah, so it's actually, no, I was never at G4. I was at ZD TV and Tech TV. I never made it to G4. I saw the writing on the wall, and I was out before that. But for me, it's all just about media and content. It's all about people who are passionate about a topic and giving them stuff to help them get more out of what they're passionate about. And so when I was at magazines, it was the people passionate about technology, and we do magazines for them to help them figure out what products to buy, how to get more out of it. Then when we started ZD TV, it was like, let's do the same thing in this great video format. That proved really popular. Then when I left there, I went off to do websites and built websites around PC Magazine and eWeek, which is what PC Week became, the first magazine I worked at. And then it's sort of later on in the 5 years I was there, they're like, oh, we want you to run this magazine, PC Magazine, too. So it's just a big circle, but it's all about creating content about things that people love and helping them get more out of it. So whatever media it is.
Do you think print is dead at this point?
No, print's not dead. The history of media is that any new media doesn't kill off the old media, it just changes it. So when television came out, radio, I was like, radio's dead. Radio wasn't dead, but radio changed.
Yeah, radio's still alive.
They used to have, the Shadow Knows and things like that on radio, Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Now it's Howard Stern. It changed, but it's still radio, and print is changing and evolving. Magazines, we used to do at PC Magazine and PC Week, we would do the printer issue. You'd have 100 printers reviewed in one. People would save that issue and put it up on the shelf all year. When they want to buy a printer, they'd pull it out. Well, you don't do that anymore. Now you go on the website, I want to buy a printer, what do you want? Best product, buy it. And so, but that doesn't mean that the magazine experience is going to go away. Sitting down, curling up with a magazine is an entirely different experience than searching on the web for something and finding it, so it's a very different experience.
What would you suggest for our viewers out there who wanted to start their own podcast? How to get started in this?
Well, so the first thing I would say is if you want to get started, just do it. Because we are so much at the early stages. It's the first inning of this ball game. It's the beginning of what's going to be a huge industry, and we don't know what's going to be successful. We don't. It's just like in '92 when we were starting to put magazines up on the web. We had no idea that it would turn into blogging and social networking and all that. Craigslist. We have no idea what the video is going to be. So get out. It's early. Get started. Remember that audio is the most important thing. You got to have good audio, which is why she's sitting there with the headphones on, making sure that this sounds good. And video quality is important, and quality overall is important, but get your audio right, then get your lighting right, and it's also about a race to quality as well. So move to HD too.
So if you don't have HD and all that, should you worry about that, or should you just get started with what you have?
Just get started and start building that audience. And also remember that what you're doing is you're building a media empire. It may be a mini media empire, but it's a media empire, so don't just fixate on the video product that you're building, but build a website around it. Build search engine optimization so it gets into Google and Yahoo. Do audio books or sell DVDs or other things. There's so many different things you can do around the content, and do it about something you love. Don't do it about something because you think there's a market for it. If you love it and you do it, other people who love it will listen.
Excellent. Thanks, Jim.
Sure.
So we've been roaming the halls here at Podcast Expo, and I met Nicole the other day. Now you make it a rather unusual show. What's it called?
The show itself is called the Midwest Teen Sex Show. It sounds racy.
Sounds naughty.
It sounds very naughty, and it's actually quite tame. PG-13 even. It's frank discussion of sex with teenagers.
Wow. So give me an example of some of the shows that you've done.
Our very first episode was female masturbation, where we advise girls that they should get to know their own bodies before they even think of becoming sexually active.
Oh, wow, right. So you take a sort of real responsible approach to
sexuality. Yeah, responsible. Yeah, actually it's entertainment, it's comedy.
It is comedy, yeah.
Most of the show is comedy.
So you have a bit of fun with a very serious topic.
We have a lot of fun, and we end up saying things a bit deadpan that people end up taking quite seriously as well, that maybe they shouldn't.
Right. But so why do you think your show is so compelling? Why do you think people have been, because it's been a blockbuster success lately?
Yeah, I think what happened is there's a lot of information for teenagers on the web right now about sex. Like, they can access it, but it's very medical, it's very sterile. A few people saw our show, thought, like, this is funny, and, this is going to work. And so they started talking to other people who work with teenagers, and it just became really, very successful very fast.
So how did you come up with the idea, and how did you get started?
The idea was Guy's. Guy Clark is the director of the show, and he has been wanting to do both a Midwest teen sex show and a Midwest teen fashion show for years. He thought the name sounded funny.
Right.
And since he's known me for a long time, he's seen the way that I work with teenagers, and he thought that I would be perfect for it.
So do you work with teenagers on your day job?
Not in my day job. It's a side project. I do writing workshops for teenagers, creative writing.
Very cool.
And I'm very frank with them, and,
So it's just a natural.
It's what's
just a natural for you to go in front of the camera and talk about sex with Midwest teens.
Yes, yeah, it's a given. I can't believe I haven't been doing it for the last 10 years.
Now, if you're going to give anybody any tips about podcasting, video podcasting, doing what you do, what would be your top 3 tips?
One would be to start out by watching other podcasts.
Yeah, okay.
Another one would be to actually do a lot of research before each show. And then I don't really the others look real cute.
Yeah. What about performance?
That's the cute part. The performance itself it is very difficult with our show because we do a lot of editing, and we have all of these characters, and we have hours and hours of footage that just doesn't even get used.
Right.
So.
Now, is there anything do you need to have a public speaking background, or can anybody video podcast, do you think?
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to have a bit of
There's
a personality.
Pickle over there. I think the pickle can do it.
Well, there you go. That's Nicole from Midwest Teen Sex Show. What's the URL?
It's MidwestTeenSexShow.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Sorry. That's great.
All right. So I'm here with Justine. How you doing? So you're here at the talk show booth.
I am at the talk show booth. I'm excited.
What's that about?
Well, talk show is an interactive podcast, so it's kind of cool because people can call in, they can chat, they can call in from their phone. I mean, like when my mom, her podcast was starting, I'm shopping, call into my mom's podcast.
Excellent. So this is I've heard talk show actually being used on a few of the Twit podcasts, I believe.
Yes, Leo and Amber and the like.
So you're using talk show for your things as well?
I do. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, it's exciting.
Perfect. So. Want to know, how did you get into this whole crazy world of podcasting? There's a lot of nerds here, and you don't seem like a huge nerd.
No, I'm a huge nerd.
Are you?
I made my first website in 6th grade. I didn't go to prom. I went to a LAN party instead. So I'm pretty sure,
She's a bigger nerd than me. So now, how do you record those podcasts when you're doing those things?
Those kind of things. You usually just take a camera, set it somewhere, and film it.
So using a video camera or an iSight camera?
Yes, like a video camera, yeah.
Excellent. And how do you put this all together? Do a lot of editing, or just look into the camera and just out it goes?
It really depends. I mean, I'll do some stuff that has no editing, or I'll do some that does edit, and I'll use Final Cut Pro.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of reaction have you been getting to this? I mean, because the reaction to the iPhone bill was pretty big.
Yeah, it's like, you crazy, you text too much. So, I mean, it's been very positive.
So how many texts do you send in a month?
Maybe about 35,000 a month.
35,000? What does that average to per minute?
I'm not sure. Everyone keeps giving me the statistics. They're like, do you realize that's like 1 per second, even when you're sleeping? Like, well, gotta do what you gotta do.
So how many texts do you send per month, Andy? 5?
5.
And I think your bill was what, $800 for that? Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
You guys don't have iPhones, do you?
We don't. No, we
are you upset about that?
A little bit, but we were thinking about that, and if we actually had iPhones in Canada, and we used the regular, just with regular use, with the data plans that we have up there, $10,000 a month.
Are you serious?
Not 300 pages, $10,000.
Wow, that is not good. I'm not moving to
Not good.
Canada.
No, they got to do something about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's work on that. Maybe we'll make a video blog.
Yes, I'm all for this. So, any words of advice for people that want to get into the world of podcasting?
Just do it.
Just do
Just
it?
do it. See what happens.
Just do it.
Just do it.
TalkShoe. I thought it was Nike for a second.
No. Just check out TalkShoe.com and you can instantly have a podcast in, 10 seconds. And that's it.
Excellent. So if people want to check out more about your podcast, where would they go?
You can check it out at iJustine.tv and there's links to all kinds of good stuff.
Excellent. Thanks, Justine.
All right.
You ready? All right. So guess who I found, Lisa Barnes?
Do I look at you or do I look at the
You
camera?
look at me. See, now Lisa is the author of this fabulous book, Podcasting for Profit, and you're a first-time author.
First time?
Right. So we have to kind of go through the whole, you're a star now. So when I interview you, you talk to me, you look at me.
I look at you.
But we can see what you can do is you can refer to these guys, because they're the third person in the conversation.
The third person
You
in
can
the
flirt
conversation.
with the camera if you like.
Flirt? Can I flirt with you?
You can flirt with me too.
I like to flirt with you.
I like that. so tell me about this book. So this book came out.
It's coming out.
It's coming out. When?
next,
Any day now?
October 2nd.
Okay. And you've been writing it for how long now?
I started writing in February of
Right.
2007.
Okay.
And I finished. It was supposed to be finished at the end of April.
Right.
I didn't finish until mid-July. Watch this guy. Watch this guy. Yeah.
Uh-oh. See, and that's the other thing about interviews is sometimes you need people to get out of the way. Oh, well, what can you do?
But yeah, I finished writing in July of 2007.
Yeah.
And
So that was quick then.
It was quick.
It's very, very quick.
Very quick.
Now, did you interview any famous people for this book?
I did.
Like who?
I interviewed Andy Walker of Lab Rats TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I got a couple of pages in there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Talking about how to make some money with your podcast.
Yes, you got a couple pages.
Right.
Actually, 2 or
Cool.
3, 4, 5 or 6.
Wow.
I think I may have put Sean's name in there. I think I might have.
You have to sort of kind of,
I think
pay
so.
lip service
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Sean,
Or may have just said co-author.
Oh, see, another person wrote for this. It's okay, you're a star, now you're on LabRats.tv.
You're a star,
Absolutely.
love. You're a star.
Anyway, okay, and so who's the book for, primarily?
The book is for people who, there's 2 audiences.
Yeah.
They're for podcasters who want to know how to monetize their podcast but haven't learned how to.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can start on chapter 5 and go forward, because from there it's all about profiting and making money.
Yeah.
And then it's also made for individuals and businesses who want a podcast and want to know right from the start how can they make money.
Right.
So they can start from the beginning of the book and go right to the end.
Very cool. And it's published in the U.S., in Canada,
Yes.
in Australia too?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
So Canada and the U.S. for the time being.
For the time being.
And we have a big Australian audience, of course, so...
So I don't know, do they have Amazon out there too?
They have a different book company, but anyway.
I'll check.
Yeah.
I'll
All right,
check.
that'd
I
be
know
good.
they've got it in Amazon UK,
Good, okay.
so I have to check for Australia.
Oh,
because
there
you
go.
guys are important too.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. And if you learned any one thing about podcasting for profit, what would be that pearl of wisdom?
Now, pearl of wisdom, that not everybody is comfortable talking about money
Right.
that they're earning from their podcast, which is shocking. And you know what was also shocking?
What?
Is that I put out a call for case studies,
Right.
and people would contact me, and then they would contact me, and then they would say, no, don't interview me. And I was like, but you're making money with your podcast. But no, you can't interview me because I'm going to offend my audience. So I thought that was weird.
That is kind of weird.
That was
Yeah,
strange.
Absolutely.
But pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
Every podcaster I spoke to, including you, Andy, said that you have to podcast with a passion. That whatever topic you select, be passionate.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Be passionate.
You do that first. You have to. I mean, if that is not there, then you're never going to make any money at all.
That's right.
I think. Right.
And for I remember the Jet Set show, Zadie and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
When I interviewed them, they said to me that it took them almost a year of podcasting weekly before they realized, hey, you know what, we could actually make money here. But it was easier for them to do it that way because then they realized, hey, now we have an audience.
Right.
And so with this audience, we can do something.
Right. Very good.
So
Now, what else do you besides book writing? You do other things too?
yes, I help people. I teach people how to podcast
Oh, you
for
do?
profit. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So I have courses, workshops. I've been gainfully self-employed because of podcasting for
Right.
18 months now.
You are the guru. I mean, you are the guru.
I
You
feel like the
really are.
guru.
Yeah. So you speak and you teach and you write.
And I write.
Do all that stuff. Now, is there a website we can send people to find out more about Lisa Barnes?
Absolutely. Go to lisabarnes.com,
Uh-huh.
and that's LEESA Barnes.
We'll put it right here, down here, so
Oh.
people can see it. You can't see it, but we'll put it in later.
I keep forgetting, video podcasts and audio podcasts, two totally different things.
That's right. There you go. I have to spell it on the audio,
Yeah,
but in video we can actually put it on the screen.
It'll be at the bottom.
There you go. Magic. There it is. And where can they buy the book?
They can buy the book at any bookstore
Right.
or online.
Right.
Just plug in Podcasting for Profit into any search engine, and it'll pop up.
Or your local bookstore too, right? Chapters
Oh, yeah,
in
you can
Canada,
walk right in.
Barnes & Noble.
Now, my only mystery is where are they going to put it in the bookstore? Because all the podcasting books end up in technology right now.
Right.
So this is about wealth creation, making money. So where's that going to go?
Business section,
Where?
technology section.
Oh my goodness.
Big head scratcher.
Yeah, big head scratcher.
Lisa Barnes, you're
Lisa
awesome.
Barnes, thank you.
Buy her book. It's phenomenal. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Oh, the big kisses.
Big kiss.
I like kissing. Thank you.
Earlier in the show, we asked you what screencasting product is not woolly or made of beans. Is it A, a llama, B, a burrito, or C, Camtasia Studio 4? The answer is Camtasia Studio 4. Learn more at labrats.techsmith.com.
We're doing an ECU here. How am I doing? Am I in frame?
We can see your neck. Can you do a promo?
I didn't shave today.
I'm sorry, I'm a little hungover. I was at the conference, but I really love you guys, and I love my camera. This is not my camera, it's related to my camera. It's not mine. Where's the good-looking guy? Wait, we're on a cord. You have to follow me now. You have to follow me wherever I go, because if you don't, you will not be recorded. But if you pull hard, I won't be recorded, and then what do we do? Will he do it, folks? See, I can't. I can't do it. I can't let it happen.